Oh, I'd already started recording, and I hadn't realised. Oh well, hello Internet, and welcome. One of the nice things about December being a rather light, shall we say, on Metroidvania releases, i.e. I don't think there are any, or maybe there are and I've not been told about them, don't know, is that I get a little bit of time in my somewhat dilapidated state to try out a few demos, some of which I'd heard of before, some of which are just being made known to me. And this is one of the latter, a demo for a game which I believe has some kind of Metroidvania influences in the sense that it is a Zelda-like game. But not only is it a Zelda-like game, and I think I'm reasonably well known as being a real lover of the earlier Zelda games, just not the 2 Switch ones, but it's also got a heavy dose of inspiration? Yeah, that's a word. Inspiration from Bloodborne, which is unashamedly my favourite game ever that I've ever played in the 30-ish years that I've been gaming, because I'm an old man. Well, no, I'm not an old man, but I'm older than a lot of people. So, this is the demo for Tearscape. I don't know much about it, apart from it's Bloodborne, but Zelda. I really like Zelda. Like, really, really like Zelda. Right, we've got a stamina meter in the corner. We've got a dash. Nothing on the shoulder buttons. We have a map. We've got some custom icons for said map. We can zoom into said map. Was that a zoom in? No, that was not a zoom in. That was something else. Oh, this is the world map. Okay. There's nothing on select. There's nothing on anything else. Vit, stamina, attack, and defense. Okay. And triangle is a healing, as it turns out. Press the roll button to roll. In combat, you get a small window of invincibility while rolling. You can roll over some small gaps. Whoop. I don't have a key. A lot of these sound effects feel vaguely familiar. You can break chests by attacking them using the attack button. You found a small key. Use it to unlock a path. In other words, you found a small key. Use it to unlock a door. Nice little animation for that. Appreciate that. They look a chunk like... I got a tear. They look a chunk like the little zombie things that come out of the ground in Link's Awakening. To me. And that's fine, you know. I've got no problem with things having the right vibes. Use interact to pick up pots. I'll just hit it instead. Right, why is that pit in the corner? Ooh, pot does not come back. Ooh, you are slowed down somewhat dramatically when carrying pots. I don't think they're much use as a weapon. They are, however... good for that. Press the heal button to drink 1 healing flask. Okay, so we've got... I don't know whether we've got an Estus flask system or whether we've got a blood vial system. Ooh. World. Music is nice. Spoopy. Hello. At last you arrive. What kept you? Your next target's location eludes us still, but the organization persists in its search. Venture north. The graveyard is beset by vile monsters. Pass through it with resolve. Our paths will cross again once I possess further information. You are dismissed. Don't think I can kill objects. Oh, attacking also uses stamina. It makes sense that it does, don't get me wrong, I just hadn't noticed. Ooh. What did I spot then that looked off? I think what I saw was some fringing around the sprites. And to me, it looked white in the moments. Like a thin white line. But what it might actually have been... Do I have a cursor? I don't have a cursor. What it might have been is just... Can you see the left... Well, our left shoulder, just below the peak of his cap? There's a tiny thin bit of the background green that's light next to the dark stuff. I'll see if I can put a ring round it on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. You don't get much of this in the actual Zelda game, the Game Boy game, because Link is locked a little bit better to the grid. So the fact that these flowers are in some ways a bit more detailed and oddly not destructible, which I find very strange indeed. Likewise, here's something that isn't in the Game Boy game. We've got full-on collision properly on these treetops, whereas in the Game Boy game, the treetops would be flatter because you wouldn't be able to go down into the ditches like that. It's not an issue. It's not an issue. It's just something I've noticed. Pixel art is nice though. Yeah, I don't think I'd have allowed people to do this. I think I would have kind of fattened up the trees and just made this flat collision. I don't necessarily think it adds anything to it. Again, not an issue, just an observation from somebody who's played a lot of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. It being the first console game I ever played. That water texture looks familiar. No. I'm wondering if this music is just a little bit too jaunty. I quite like it. Oh, here's another thing I've just realised. We don't have a shadow. That's what one of the things that it's been niggling away at the back of my head that's missing. We don't have a shadow. We're not casting a shadow in any way, shape or form. We need a shadow. Is this... Huh? Huh? What are these? Are they going to be something later, but they're not yet? Oh, they're paving stones. Okay. Oh. Oh dear. Oh, I need 25 tears and I've got 6, so we're not leveling up. What's this say? Progress is automatically saved when you interact with the checkpoints. Using rest replenishes all your health and flask, but respawns all the enemies. Level up allows you to increase your character's stats in exchange for tears. Yes, so it's a bonfire. Is this a gate? It looks like it should be a gate. It's not a gate. I started making a Zelda game, or a Zelda style game. I need to go back and do some more on that. I was quite enjoying it. Well, I mean, what I was actually doing was remaking the start of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening in Unity for educational purposes, really. I wonder if that's how this started. So, one thing that they've done better than I managed to get done, though, was this screen transition. I couldn't get that working properly at all. No, can't go down there. I'm seeing some little coloured blocks down there. Little speckly bits. And so far, this feels very Zelda. And I'm happy it's not too challenging to start off with. I'm sure it will get there. Do corpses stay? Corpses do stay. As they should do. I've also just noticed that it actually shows the enemy health in the bottom right-hand corner. Yeah, in terms of, and this is going to show my absolute amateurness with anything. I really struggled to get when I was doing my Link's Awakening kind of educational remake thing. I really struggled to get Link attacking and facing in the right direction with this kind of feel. You know, the kind of, you can slide quite well, but you've got to properly turn up or down to really get them to face those directions. The way the sprite facing is done on this is, I like it. It's well done. That's probably going to sound just like an absolutely inane comment to anybody who hasn't tried to do this in Unity. I think I was doing it with animation tree blending, when your controller's moving in a certain axis, and I just couldn't get it to look like the old game. This seems to give definite priority to the left-right movements. In fact, yes, it is. There's a lot of things here, like these trees, for example, that very much remind me of Link's Awakening. I'm wondering if the reason why some of this looks familiar is because it's using a variation of a sprite's tile map pack that I've actually got, that I was planning on reskinning my Link's Awakening remake with. But then a load of Metroidvanias came out and I played those instead. We can't get across there, can we? No. What's the map say? That's not the map. Oh. Interesting. No map. Huh. Now, one thing that I will say about this, depending on, well, actually no, let me explain where my thought process was going there, because otherwise this won't make any sense. My initial comment was going to be, before I stopped myself, that there are very few screens in Zelda games that don't have any purpose. You know, they're usually, they've got keys or secrets or dungeon bosses or mini bosses or key items or so on and so forth. I've wandered around quite a few screens here. This one obviously has got something. We've got to find a way of getting past that pit. But we've got a lot of screens where there's just not a lot going on. You know, having a heart in a pit. Yeah, that can include having enemies. You know, a combat encounter. You know, there are plenty of screens in Link's Awakening that just have enemies on them, but there are very few screens that don't have anything at all. Even if it's just bushes and stuff to break down. Okay, yes, we've got these candles with hearts in. Oh, oh! Okay, that trapped me. I really want to test whether this here is a lower floor. Got health. Let's try it. It is not a lower floor. Okay, that's something that could do with being considered, because in a Zelda game, something like that might make people think, oh yeah, that's a lower floor. Admittedly, they're only going to do it once. Spikes! Oops. Whoa, oh. We don't get any iframes from damage, so we can get bounced back and forth between enemies and spikes. That's probably going to frustrate. I have a key. Yeah, I think this music might be a little bit out of place tonally. One thing that does intrigue me is that at the bottom of the screen we have got a... I'm assuming that's an icon for our sword. Which implies... Is this a pit? I think that's a pit. I'm not going to try it. That could do with being made a little bit clearer. See, these trees have very much got the flat colliders on them. You found a small key. You can open a locked door. You found a piece of the map. A piece of the map, you say? Oh, okay. I'd actually like to be able to zoom out, but I can't. This is as zoomed out as it gets. And this is zoomed in. I don't know whether we're going to need to zoom in that much. Maybe we are. Nicely done spike timings. I wonder whether they had to create 2 spike objects for those with offset timings and just copy paste them. That's how I'd have done it. It's probably not the most efficient way of doing it. In fact, you could probably make one spikes game object and just have a toggle on it, assuming you're only ever going to have 2 alternating spikes. So every time I play a Zelda-like, my brain starts thinking about how I would try and program it. And the answer to that is badly. Badly is how I would program it. Right, we've just gone around in a big loop here, haven't we? Yes. So I actually want to go to... Oh, that's a bug. Okay, so if I bring up the map... Music stops. I assume because the game is paused behind us. If I press start... Map stays up. Music starts again. Ah, here's the alternating spikes I was talking about. Oh, I know how I'm getting that. Hitbox for the sword seems nice. You got a second key. Right, that's just a pit, isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, it's not. Oh. Oh, that's going to be an issue. Because, of course, you've got the bar at the bottom of the screen and it's black. So it looks like everything's a pit, but of course it's not. Yeah, and now I know that, it's fine, but that means that if you do have a pit at the bottom of the screen, I'm probably going to walk into it at least once, because I suppose if you've got this little kind of dotted line at the edge of the tiles, then it would be obvious. But it made me question. That's a teensy tiny issue with level design, realistically. Is this the way that we came into the graveyard? Huh? No? No, it's not, is it? We came in from another direction. Right, I think we need to go back. Don't get me wrong, I'm hopefully getting across the fact that I'm actually quite liking this. Was this where we couldn't get through before? We've clearly been here before. I didn't mark down any other places where there were keyholes, did I? I think this was just a pit over here that we couldn't get across. Or we could try the map marker system. Oh, there is a pit mark there. Right, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of these rooms that I've said, oh, there doesn't seem to be much in them. It's like there may actually be secrets. Maybe we can get a shovel to dig under the stuff. I don't know whether that really fits in with a Bloodborne-inspired game. You know, now that I've mentioned it, the more the lack of shadow bothers me. And actually, it's not just the lack of shadow. If you take a look at the character's hands or face, there's a thick black line to the left and the right of those fleshy bits. But there's not a black line at the bottom of the light feetsy bits. Feetsy bits. Is he barefoot? But again, that is something that would be fixed with a shadow. I've lost my bearings. Could probably get across those faster if if I use the roll more effectively. Well, we've got a chest key, or well, no, we've got a small key. We haven't found anything to open it with. Maybe it's further across over that pit. Oh, hitboxes on those, not a big fan of. That seems a little bit on the right, this seems like it should be a thing that can be interacted with, because it's got a thick outline. It feels like it should have some collision, and it doesn't. These do. This doesn't. The way, again, Link's Awakening does it is if there are things like, well, I mean, in fact, it's doing it with the grass and stuff here. You know, the colours are desaturated if they are background items. Look at the seashells and skulls on the beach, and for an example of that. I'm wondering, I'm pretty certain this is all done using virtual cameras, and I have a feeling that that enemy was moving up to attack me whilst I was here, so it could sense me being in range even though I wasn't on the same screen. Unfortunately, I've killed him, so I can't test that theory. Maybe they can't leave the screen boundaries, which they shouldn't be able to do. But they could technically detect me if I'm, you know, here, and then be immediately in my face when zoning in. Or it could just have been unfortunate pathing. Lots and lots of health being given. What's this supposed to be? Can't interact with it, so... Oh, you can fire yourself diagonally, can you? I was expecting you to only work in straight lines. Oh. Okay, so they're programmed, I think, to run away? And then do their what charge at us? Ooh, that's a really slow animation. Ooh, that's a cool effect though. First death? You died. I've no idea where it saved us. Oh, back here. Right, we've lost all of our tears. We should be able to get through it. Okay, so the persistent blocks are working. That's good. I'm hoping that we can go and recollect our tears. In proper Souls fashion. Yes, those were a little bit too close to the screen transition. Yeah, he didn't reset then. He was still mid-attack. Aha! Okay, there's my confirmation. So it's definitely a single screen environment with virtual camera transitions. I expected it to be, but the fact that you can see the enemy from a previous screen, that needs working on. Okay, we've got some. Increase your health, increase your stamina so you can move more. Nice animation. Travel. Okay, we've got a fast travel system. I'm noting in the bottom right hand corner that we've got a little purple bar with a boss face. Is that going to come back, or is it just going to... Not sure. What he got stuck on then. Again, can you see just the outline of this enemy here? The way he's fallen makes the... He's just fallen slightly off in terms of where the pixels fall, so it looks like it's got a weird fringe. I really don't know if there's anything you can do about that, short of snapping everything to a grid. And it can be done, but I don't know how to do it. If I had known how to do it, I'd probably have got further than I did. With my own project, just because it was the little things that were obviously so much easier on the Game Boy because of the very nature of the platform locking things to the grid. It's also the reason why games don't tend to do this transition as much. You found an old book? Maybe someone is interested in this. We don't have a status screen. Okay, that looks like a drop-down points. Whether it actually is a drop-down points. Right, this is just taking me around in a loop, hasn't it? Ooh, the timing on those is different. Okay, we've got a good chunk of tears there. Oh, hello. Do you want the old book? You have arrived. It seems your attitudes are not entirely lacking. Clearly you don't know me very well, Aldrich. Before you stands the entrance to Dreadmore Palace. Enter, and within, hunt down the beast. End its existence. We shall meet again once the deed is done. Should you survive, of course. Thanks. Oh, this is very Zelda-esque. To the extent that they've actually got these orange things around the animated tiles. Are these supposed to represent fire spilling onto the floor? But can you see that teeny tiny thin line between my character's feet and the tile? It's like only a pixel, disappears if you do that. It's a teeny tiny thing. And likewise, there, a really thin line where I think it's probably the collider for the main character is a pixel off. No, it's not, because the collider brushes up there, but it pushes us back a pixel. Also, when that sprite's changed to animating, the background disappeared for it. Anyway, we've got a Zelda-style dungeon. Do we have no map available just yet? Right, that's a drop-down point. Drop-down points I found oddly difficult to do, not knowing what I was doing. Right, you're... I'm not taking any damage. Okay. Huh. Okay, it's definitely recognising that keys are specific to a dungeon. I don't know what that was on the wall. Was it a candle? Oh, I've fallen down the hole anyway. We've got... Ah, I didn't try hitting the arrows out of the air, did I? I should probably try that. That might be the way forward. Yeah, it looks like he just... Right, let's try this. Yes, okay. Demagen has learned of mechanics. Well done, Demagen. Yeah, those oak candlesticks. I'm assuming this is going to have kind of dungeon tools. Okay, that's there. What the? Oh, I just got hit by a flail from the previous room. Oh, I've myself in a stupid situation there. A piece of the map. When it says a piece of the map, does it mean a piece of map? Or you found the map? Because it doesn't look like we've got a piece of the map here, does it? It looks like we've got the map. I can't jump down off the edge there. That's something that you could actually do in Zelda. Ugh. Yeah, see, enemies stay. They need to wonder. They need to respawn. They need to reset outside of the. All the way around. Yeah, enemies need to reset, not just be kind of standing there at the edge of the screen waiting for you. And the fact that they can attack. Oh, damn it. Oh, damn it! Oh, I died again. I assume that means I've lost all my... I assume that means I've lost all my currency. What? Oh, screw this. Huh? I got a key. I got a key, didn't I? Didn't I pick up a key? What? Okay, the hitbox for the pits is actually a little bit more precise than I think it needs to be. I find it very odd that you don't just give us the ability to open the chests. Why do we have to smash them? I'm gonna get a firearm or something. Feeling quite lacking in terms of what I can do right now. He followed me between screens. And no, my souls had disappeared, so... Am I supposed to just be freezing these statues by hitting them? Is that what I'm doing? At least they can't follow you over pits. So they are locked. The appropriate section of the screen. Oh, that's just taking us over there. Which means that we're going all the way back this way. Oh, really? Oh, of course you're going to put me there, straight in the line of fire of another arrow. What? Just step onto the platform. Yeah, I'm seeing some issues. It's mostly in terms of level design, really. Shields. Oh. Okay, perfect block mechanic. In a Zelda-like. I am intrigued. Okay, that feels decent. No health flasks left. We have a yeah. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a way round here. Okay. Those enemies that rush away aren't particularly fun to fight. You know, the zombie guys with the swords, they're not super interesting, but I just don't think I can kill these guys. I think that's the whole point. Yeah. I think you need to have these enemies be stunned if you perfect block them. I think this is starting to lose some of its charm. I'm liking the idea, but I think the implementation is going to need some work. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I like the perfect blocking, but I think it could do with some extra benefits for us. Don't get me wrong, you know, it's like, oh, it doesn't use stamina. Okay, that's good. It feels like it should give us a combat advantage as well. Yes, okay, not using stamina is a combat advantage. This isn't fun design. See? This is not fun. Oh, and that pushes you back off anyway. So you've got a perfect block here. Because if you don't, you're getting pushed off into the pit. That's not fun. It's not even that that's a rage quit moment, though I am going to leave it here. But I don't think that's fun design. I think... am I going to leave it here? How far? That's probably the way to a boss key or something like that. But yeah, getting from here all the way up and round here only to be... No, in fact, I'm not going to carry on because I just think that fundamentally that's a piece of poor design. How you have done your arrows and put them on the same level as that trap and put it right next to the wall, so you've just got to count for when that's going to come out. So yeah, I mean, fine, it works, but I don't think it's going to appeal to a particularly large group of people. And of course, the fact that you have to perfect block when you are looking out for... Not, if it was just the arrow coming from the left, you could focus on, yes, okay, I've got to make sure I perfect block. But the fact that you've also got to focus on whether there's an arrow coming from behind you as well, I think is just mean, frankly, as a piece of kind of level design. I just think that's mean, especially because you've got such limited healing, and there's no shortcuts at Spin Unlocked. We have to go. Well, in fact, we have to go round the arrow trap there, up and round and round and round. It's just a little bit too... It's just a little bit too padded and mean for its own good, I think. There are some decent ideas here. Considering the look of the game is very clearly inspired by Link's Awakening, I would like to see this map done in a style that is more Link's Awakening as well. It's a bit bland for my tastes. I'd like to see the grid. I'd like to see the... I just like to... You know, if you're going to do it, take it the whole way. You know, do the whole thing. I think the actual level design is going to need some work from that. Obviously, there was that one room. I can't remember which one it was now because I didn't look at the map. Having to press multiple buttons to even open the map is like, we've got so many buttons on these controllers these days. Just give us a map button. Even if it's clicking in the right stick or whatever. The enemies following us between rooms obviously isn't a thing that should happen. Enemies that can hit us from another room, because this is actually all one big room broken up with virtual cameras, again, that shouldn't happen either. I don't know how you prevent it. You'd need to have some kind of... What's this game made in? Manage most local files. Oh, I don't know what this is made in. It's not made in Unity. I don't know what this is made in. That's interesting. Maybe it's Game Maker? I don't know. All it's got is a DLL file, so it could be made in anything. Not sure. If it was Unity, I could have taken a guess as to how this might be done, because I was able to get something vaguely similar working. I'm going to assume, based on my limited knowledge of Unity, which may or may not carry over here, that what you've got is a big-ass map. It's broken up into multiple virtual camera zones, or whatever this engine's equivalent is. So once you pass the threshold, it switches smoothly to the next virtual camera. So you've got to have some way of ensuring that the game knows that you are in this zone as opposed to this zone. So if you are not in the zone that the enemy is in, it can't do any damage to you. Is what would be the easiest, or most logical solution. The only issue with that is that it means the enemy would still faff around here because it can still see you, even though you can't see it because of how the zone transitions work. I think as soon as you leave the room, the enemies need to return to a base patrolling location. So if, say, an enemy starts here and starts here, they could have a little kind of patrol area, like the moblins in the forest in Link's Awakening. They've got a little patrol area. They can go diagonally, they can go left and right. Once you get within a certain range of them, they go into attack mode and they start chasing you. But as soon as you leave the screen, they wander back and start patrolling their area again. So as soon as the player is no longer in the same screen as the enemies, which means that they all need to be arranged according to the room that the virtual camera is also in, they need to start. They need to return to their spawn point. Obviously, in certain games, once you leave the screen and come back, they'll just reset their location entirely. They won't, and that tends to fix these problems. The enemy doesn't activate until the room transition starts. They can still be animating, but they're just not doing much of anything. If you look at Link's Awakening HD DX, whatever it was called, the kind of fan-made port thing, that didn't have the screens. It didn't have screens like this. And you could actually zoom out and see them moving around in the entire dungeon. So if you want an idea of what enemy patrols can be looking like, you can still find that online, even though obviously Nintendo issued the whole cease and desist thing. There's some good ideas here, and obviously I'm only spending so much time talking about this because I love my old school Zelda likes and I love Bloodborne. There's a lot of potential here for something that I could really get behind, but right now the level design isn't quite there and the enemies need a little bit of work, but we've got some potential here. We've got some potential here for me. That I'm sure there are going to be people that are already heaping. Oh yes, and this weird pixel line thing that needs working. I think you've got your sprites ever so slightly off when they're at rest. I think the sprite render, you can even see it pop back up by one slight sprite. It again, teeny tiny things. Some of these very very nitpicky, but all add to that sense of excellence. So get a shadow on the character. You don't need to do anything super interesting or whatever with dynamic lighting or anything like that you could do for the extra special atmosphere, or you might just want to keep it proper Game Boy Color style, as this is clearly based on. I'd probably pull this away from the wall as well. You could actually probably move this up a tile, so the top of it is kind of overlapping the wall. I don't know. Excuse me. So yeah, a little bit of work on level design, a little bit of work on the kind of graphics, a little bit of work on the combat, especially as regards those beetly things in the perfect block. I think I don't know what the enemies are called, I really should do. The beetle enemies in the Tail Cave in Link's Awakening, if they charge at you and you pull your shield out, it knocks them over and stuns them. Now obviously, if you're going to do that in this, then you could have that happen when you perfectly block them, it flips them, and you get a bit of time to get a couple of hits in, because as it is, there's no huge benefit for doing it short of, well, you don't take any damage. Again, just ideas. Feel free, as I'm sure you should do, to completely disregard ideas. I'm just a guy that likes Zelda games. So yeah, that's been my impressions, an hour's worth of impressions now of the Tearscape demo. Lots of potential here if this is your kind of thing, which it is for me. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, everybody. Stay fabulous. Cheerio. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.